Hey, how are you? I'm DCP, author Stephen Candace. Welcome to DCP Talks, baby. Okay, this is my podcast. I'm going to talk about my books. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. And you can find all the information and events on my podcast and that on www.authorstephencandace.com. Now, my podcast will be featured every Friday night, and this year's topics are things that make us go hum and about my books. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. So let's get right to it. I have 58 different books out there. I'm working on 3 as we speak, but we're going to get that to where it's my corner, writer's corner. And, whenever we talk about 58 books, I have everything: fantasy, westerns, crime, drama, romance, paranormal. I mean, you name it. Horror, can't forget that, baby. And then, so I have everything. So all you got to do is pick it. Now, books are not easy to write. I started off like everybody else, 100 pages and then a little bit more. And you know what? It is something that is just, you have to maintain it, keep trying at it. And once you realize your pattern and you get your rhythm down, the words come very good to you. I also have 24 Audible books out there. 24 Audible books, that's pretty impressive. And right now, we're going to talk about 2 of my Audible books. When you want to say why Audible, let's be honest, why Audible? I mean, Audible, you can do anything. You can walk around, you can jog, you can walk your dogs, you can clean your house listening to it, you can drive your car. When I was younger, I used to live in Toronto, like I said last week. I listened to Audible. I listened to Audible for years before it even came out. And then I realized now how big it is. And now it's impressive that I have books on Audible. It is actually pretty badass when you think about it. Now, we're going to talk about 2 books, okay? And my 2 books we're going to talk about, the first one is called Current, okay? When Darkness Falls. And that book is on Audible by John Davies. Now, John Davies is an actor. And this is amazing because I am so shocked that he took my book and he narrated it. And I am shocked that now when I listen to it and friends of mine listen to it, they constantly tell me that his accent, he's British. And you know him when you see him. So it's like, oh, that's so cool to listen to it because he's really good at what he does. And Current is about 3 countries. That's it. That's left. The civilization has gone down to resources, and the only thing left for survival everybody's fighting over is electricity. And the 3 countries are United States and Canada and Mexico. Everybody else is depleted. Everybody else is in the age of darkness, back to the, real pioneer days of homesteading. Now, the 3 countries, one of the countries, go figure, United States, their electricity is depleting. Well, their electricity is depleting, man. So they need electricity. And they're going to go try to take Mexico's, or they're going to try to take Canada. So you should see how this baby turns out, man. John Davy narrates a wonderful story. And that's what I like about it. The second book we're going to talk about, which I love, is Sleepy Waters Campground. Sleepy Waters Campground is actually narrated by Kelly McDowell. Yes, Kelly McDowell is an actress as well. Voiceover. She does so many different things. Really cool. If you see her, you'll know her. And it's one of those things you're like, I've seen her. Yes, you have seen her. She's done commercials. She's done many different things. And she's very good with her southern draw. And that's why I picked her, because I wanted that southern sleek sound of a campground and camping. And, that's how it came out to be. And, 2 good books. But there's, 22 more. But those 2 books is what I want to feature because of the 2 actors. And I think that's amazing, okay? So let's live our lives, enjoy everything around us, and everything usually comes into place, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we would discuss the why factor in every week because it's been there since the beginning of time, and we often find ourselves caught up in the ray of making a decision whether or not we do not care for. And that's what it really comes down to be. So I really think that that's what we just got to think about. Now, after the Y Factor, I have my guest, which is sent in 2 weeks in a row. So our third week is Mr. Steak Filet. You know, he's from New York City. New York City. That's right. New York City. And he sent in just some questions. And let's see what he has to say, because he's always curious about my books. He asked, do I like writing horror or paranormal? Now, I'll tell you what, I like writing horror and paranormal, but I found myself, the older I'm becoming, I'm not much into the more horror side of things. I would rather be in the more paranormal. I like the romance, and I like the homestead life, and I like stories about families now. It seems I must be getting old, and you know how that shit works, right? And that's just, so paranormal. Plot twist or a slow burn? Ooh, I like a twist. But I like something that just eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. And I got to do better at that. That's something I got to do better at. Same as that plot twist. I'm good at a lot of twists and turns. I think I got to get better on some plot twists myself. So I need to take some advice on that shit. Do I write when I'm angry? Oh, no, I don't, because there's going to be people dying. Writers write with their moods. Let's be honest, man. We write with our moods. If we're in a good mood, shit's going good. If we're in a bad mood, someone's dying. Someone's sick. Someone's going to have terminal cancer. Anything can happen when you're in a bad mood or if you're in a good mood. It is just depending on you. Now, a character you wish had better notoriety. A better character for notoriety would be Jessica in Jessica Lynn. I find Jessica Lynn is a great little book, a couple hundred pages, and it just keeps you, and she's a twist and turny young lady. And the book is actually quite a good twist book. Jessica Lynn is a really good one. She's in college, and she meets John, and he's an artist, and she needs lessons. And things go from there, and there's some good twist in that one. The most dramatic character. Oh, that's my baby Johnny. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Johnny is a nutcase. Johnny's in a mental institution. Crybaby. There you go. The first title came out years ago was Eyes in the Dark when I first wrote it. Well, I revamped it, redid it to Crybaby. It makes more sense. Johnny's been away in an institution for many, many years, and he wants to come home, baby. The problem is, his wife's been married. And now he's finding all these things out. He's not a happy camp. So, the book is a rated R book, a rated X. It is for adults only. There is some very extremely graphic scenes. I don't write a lot of spice in my books, but this one is over the spiciness. Like, it's so spicy that it's a jalapeno pepper you just bit into. So therefore, it's a pretty woman. Okay, do I kill off a character or let them live happily ever after? All right, once again, it is how you write. Is your mood of the day, man. There's been days characters doing so good. And then all of a sudden, man, their shit happens because I'm not in a good mood. Or it could work vice versa. And it depends on you and depends on how you do it. And to me, like I said, sometimes, right now, I'm a happily ever after guy. A lot of things are good, so that's good. Do I write in silence or a dramatic soundtrack in my head? That's really weird. I have a natural tune in my head. I have natural music, a natural beat. And that's very weird. So I found it easy to play music and dance and anything like that because I have it's a natural beat. Some people don't, but when I write, I have to write total silence. When I edit, it's a little bit different. If writing had a warning label, what would it say about my writing? Steamy, but not too spicy. So that's good. Some, really good story, captivating. Learning more and more. The more and more you learn how to write, the more and more you define characters, the more you build stories. That's what it comes from, everybody. Take notes, lots of notes. One word your editor would probably say about me a lot. I have a lot of variety. I do not stick to one lane because I don't believe in it. I believe in the fact that a writer should have various styles because that's who they are. Now, some writers pick a lane, go for it. Hey, Stephen King, horror. John Michener, family and adventure. I get it. I really do, but I like twists. I like to change things up. I find that it is one of those things where it's just what it is. Now, here's a few more questions that he sent in. Let me see what it says. What was it like hearing your story narrated for the first time? That was badass. To hear your story, your book being read to you. The first book I did was Dreams, and it was by Matt Reevey. And Dreams is an amazing book, and it's about an experimental drug where a guy was shot in the war, in the Second World War, and they kept him alive for 20 years, but just his brain, and using him for experimental drugs and making him go in and out of different dreams. Really cool. And that story is my number one seller anyways on Audible. And it's a good selling story. It's a good story. Matt Reevey did such a nice job, but it's really cool to hear your story for the very first time. How involved are you with selecting the narrators? I am 100% narrating involved. One book had over 35 auditions. So that's impressive. I get a lot of auditions. When people are out there wanting to work, people out there wanting to get noticed, it's like me writing books. People want to know, and that's pretty cool. What was it like narrating the Audible book yourself? Well, I have not narrated an Audible book myself, but I plan on it. Right now, my life is pretty full between writing books and I watch grandkids. And then I spend a lot of time with my family. So once things become a little freer, then I think I'm going to change and I'll get into, I want to do some cooking shows. I used to be a teacher at Niagara College. I used to teach food service functions. If you want to be a dietary aide or a cook in a hospital or nursing home facility, whatever it is, you had to take my course. Now they do online learning. That's why I'm not teaching no more. They just kicked us out, teachers. Boom, see ya. And they went to computer learning, man. A smart way to go, I guess, in a way, but still, we lost jobs. But I taught the course. So therefore, I'd like to do some cooking videos. I think I'll do some really good cooking videos, and I think it'll be DCP cooking, baby. Oh, there it is right there. DCP's cooking corner, baby. We're going to do Hotspot coming. I guess that's coming. Now, did the narrator interpret any characters differently than I imagine? Yes. Brad Derry with Zorn's Quest. Brad Derry has an imagination and a gift of different emotions where he is a character amongst characters and he loves to simulate the story. So if it is a king, it is, hey, you, I'm the king. If it is a wizard, you are the wizard. I mean, I love it when he says certain stories. I had to laugh. One of them I laughed. I couldn't stop laughing because of his voice. And it wasn't in a bad way. It was the character it just made me just giggle and with excitement, and I loved it. But he narrated 5 of my books. So Zorn's Quest, man, yeah, 1 through 4 and book 6. Book 5 was in the middle of being completed. But yeah, that's crazy, eh? So, I mean, man, I'm telling you, it was pretty cool. Were there any scenes that felt more powerful in the audio format? Oh, I think all of it. I don't think people understand the severity. It's like watching a movie. I want you to think about watching a movie, but just your ears. So when it reads something, it reads it powerful. If you get somebody that reads it right, they're just not a dead body. They're going to be with emotion and read it with emotion. Dak Connor, A Father's Love. Really, really well done when he reads it. Jeff Lynne with Diesel. Diesel was a very good story about a dog that paranormal, invades his privacy. And Diesel does some really bad things. But yeah, the way he narrates it, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of good books out there. Vladimir is a badass book. Oh, Alan Van Pelt. When he reads it, it puts you there. And that's what's good about it. Now, Mr. Jose Cuervo sent in a couple questions. He said, be honest. Which character would you absolutely not survive being stuck in an elevator with? Chris from Help Wanted. I don't know how fast that came out, didn't it? Boom. Chris from Help Wanted. Whiny. Sucky. He's one of those, he's just, he thinks he's badass, but then he gets scared easy and talks too much. Yeah, that's about that little boy. Did any character hijack your story and refuse to behave and leave? Yeah, Zorn. I don't know what the hell happened with Zorn, but Zorn started off as a book and then a game book. Zorn started off as a game book, by the way. Back in the 80s and 70s, there was a writer and there was books called Lone Wolf. And they were game books, reading game books, fantasy. And I got a hold of these things. And there was 4 books. Amazing Lone Wolf series. And it really made me think. So when I wrote Zorn's first book, I wrote it and then I put it into a game book. True story. Then I said I needed game book 2 to go in Zorn's book 2. So then I had to write book 2. Well, then Zorn's Quest wrote book 3. And then I didn't think about the game book because I figured I was done with it. Well, 2 years later, I sold 78 game books. Well, I sold 78 game books. Well, that just made me determined to write book 3. And then it just never stopped. Zorn's Quest, because of book 3, there's so many dragons. And then I love dragons, by the way. I'm a fantasy guru with dragons. And I draw every character, every picture that is in all my books are my drawings. Me. I've done the artwork. I used to be an artist, professionally. I'm a very good artist. I've sold well over 300 paintings. Easy. Not to mention, I used to paint rocks. Yeah, Memories on Stone on Facebook. It's still there. I've sold over, 700 rocks. Yes, ridiculous on how you have to paint very small. But it is pretty cool. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Zorn basically stole the show. He's got 10 books, man. You can't compete with that. I have another series which we're going to talk about later. But, yeah, Love and Happiness series is 4 books. I'm a book writer. I love writing books. When did you first hear about Audible books? What did you think? And was it better than you imagined? You know what? Yes, it was. I first heard about books years ago, and I thought it was a genius idea. But that was back with cassette tapes. Cassette, people. You put in a cassette, had to flip it over. And then sometimes I had 2 cassettes. So let me tell you what. Yeah, it was really, and like I said, the first book was Dreams. Then the second book was Diesel. Yeah, it was pretty cool to hear your books out there. And let me tell you what, it's something fantastic to hear them read back to you. All I'm saying is Audible's the way to go. If your books have a theme song, what would it be? Easy Rider, baby. It's Easy Rider. That's me. I'm just an easy rider. What scenes would your family prefer you haven't wrote? That's funny. I never told my family I wrote books. I told people, I like to write. Nobody understood how much I like to write. I was a closet writer. I was a closet writer until the beginning, or until last year, when my daughter, she was doing something for me. And my daughter is a true, wonderful daughter, and she has bought all my books. And she told me, she was like, Dad, you have an issue. And I said, what's your issue? She goes, have you ever typed in your name on Google? And I said, no, you need to. And I typed in my name in Google, and my name blows up. There is so much about Stephen Candace. And I didn't realize. She goes, Dad, you need a website. You need to start selling your books. You need to start doing all this. I can't believe you have all these books. And I thought it was bullshit and playing around, and you're serious. And I've been doing this for about 7 years now. I've been writing for about 10 total. But yeah, I always wanted to be a writer when I was a kid, just never had the time to do it. So yeah, when you type in my name, yeah, okay, let me tell you what. Now it says, if your book became a movie, what snack would all of you be eating at my premiere? Shit, everybody loves popcorn. We are a popcorn family, and I make sure that my son would make it, and we'd have popcorn and popcorn and popcorn. We love our popcorn. Let's see. Oh, we're going to actually talk about our, I hate politics, man. You know what? My friend and I, we can't even talk politics. Mike and I talk about everything. Mike's my best friend, and then I have another best friend, Billy. Billy and I cannot talk about politics. My other friend, Chris, he talks about everything. He don't give a shit. He hates everybody. So we just don't even talk about politics or talk about anything because he just gets heated up. Billy hates Trump and what's his name? Elon Musk. And I can't even talk about it. Can't even bring up the fact about either one of them when he loses his shit. And I laugh. Me and Mike laugh about it. He's like, he just loses his shit just totally, right? But so my kind of fun politics idea is going to be, I'm going to do some roasting today. This is going to be my fastest segment, short little comedy, and it's going to be roasting Donald Trump and Mark Haney. Let's get to it. Donald Trump doesn't fact check, he confidence checks. Gotta like it. His autobiography should come with a terms and conditions may change page. Gotta love that one. He treats press conferences like it's a reality TV reunion special, baby. He knows everybody. He's always like, hey, what's up? Even autocorrect just shrugs its shoulders and says, why not? I mean, really. If volume was currency now, he'd be the richest person alive. We all know that shit. That man can't shut up for nothing. His debate strategy. Strategy? You like that shit, right? His debate strategy. Clear, alt, and deflect. The man could argue with a mirror and declare victory. We gotta like that shit. That's true. He is funny that way. When he says huge, dictionaries update automatically. That's stupid, but okay. GPS doesn't give Donald directions. It negotiates his route. That's about probably true, or he just tells it where he wants to go. If confidence were Wi-Fi, the whole country would have a 5-bar celebration. All right, that's enough about the freaking one-haired stream guy from the United States. Now let's talk about our own stream guy from Canada here, Mr. Carney. Mr. Carney's vision of bring the party to you is a speech on inflation rates. Amen to that. He keeps having the son of bitches. His campaign slogan, let me explain that again, but this time I will use graphs. I love that one. That's a good one. How does he throw political jabs? He issues press releases, but with bullet points. And when he says a spicy debate, economists reach for popcorn because it's so damn boring. And if charisma were currency, he'd be the Bank of Canada's biggest underperformer. And Carney doesn't do dramatic exit. He does scheduled retirements with 12-step plan. That is so true. Well, he's a banker. Does anybody realize that? His version of a mic drop is a fiscal format with an optimistic baseline. Opponents call his speeches too detailed. Fans call them bedtime reading. Get your sleep and hot chocolate ready. If enthusiasm were a if enthusiasm were GDP, Carney would still classify it as modest growth. You know, when it comes to politics, I can't stand either one of them, and I can't say that I believe in things they do, and I can't say that I really am thrown by some of the things that they also do. Politics is something that's very heated amongst a lot of people. You really can't talk about it. People do get kind of like twisted and shit, so you gotta kind of leave that shit alone. Okay, but politics is politics, and I will never say anything about politics or talk about it, even though I have my opinions. I promise you, I am not afraid to speak my opinion, but not in my podcast. It's not a place for it. Now, this is called my new book corner, and I have chosen this week. I am in the middle of writing 3 books, and that's true. I just started one, and I'm about to start another one, and my third one I'm completing, actually finishing it up. I'm at the current state of writing a book for the second installment of Pigeons and Crows, A Viking's Tale. This Pigeons and Crows is going to be the story of Astrid and Borg. So it's a book 2, and it's a tale of Astrid and Borg on the Viking's Tale. And I'm in the middle of starting that one. I'm outlining it as we speak. It's probably going to take about 2 or 3 months to complete that one. My second book I want to talk about, which I cannot wait to start, it's already have an outline. It's called John Tillis. And that book is going to be set back in the days of Pioneer and the days of settlement and homesteading. And so his family was a mining family. And that's a good, it's going to be a great story. Okay. Now, my new book we're going to talk about, what I just completed, is book 3 in One Family's Journey. Now we're going to talk about book 3. I just completed book 3. There's 3 book installments. I started Life on the Prairie, and it's One Family's Journey. Life on the Prairie is the story about the Jenkins family. And the Jenkins family moved from the eastern United States and out to Colorado, like a lot of families did in the pioneers' days, bringing grandma, meemaw, and bringing everybody else. And then they moved and bought land and built a settlement. So this is their life of how they got there, how they lived, and then they have their children. And then their children, okay, man, you're talking about Bobby Lee, you're talking about Billy Joe, Elizabeth, Laura, Jean Ann. So, Sarah Jenkins kept a journal, a diary, and this is what was found. And whenever, the gentleman found the diary, he couldn't believe it, and then he put it together. Then when he found the second diary, which is of the daughter Laura, which is the book 2, Under the Colorado Moons. Now, we all thought Under the Colorado Moons was the last installment of Life on the Prairie. Well, but it turns out to be One Family's Journey turned out to be book 3. There was a journal that was given to the gentleman who had the other 2 and put them together, was given him a third journal. The Prairie Life is by Jean Ann Jenkins. The Under the Colorado Moons is by Laura Jenkins. Now, the book was given to the gentleman who put all the books together by the youngest sister, Elizabeth. And these 3 tales are about a homestead family that came from out east back in 1870 and 1860. And then they came into Colorado, got land, and it's their life's tale. It is how they lived on the homestead. And we're talking about back in pioneer days, like many families drove across the country to a new beginning that would start a family heritage with homesteading, or how they built their families, like John, Sarah, Bobby Lee, Laura, Billy Joe, Elizabeth, and Jean Ann. Not to mention Meemaw, who came with them. These 3 tales are really good books. I just finished the third one. It's coming out within the next week. So we're talking about something exciting and how good they're going to be. Their new book corner, baby. This is what's coming out. Then next week, we're going to talk about how Pigeons and Crows are coming, the story of Astrid and Borg. After that, John Tillis. It's coming. I'm a fast writer, and I don't stop and I don't let go. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our Broncos Corner. Before I forget, I want to bring up a book that I found. I didn't start this book yet because I was waiting to show you first, because it's a game book. Check this book out. It is by Ashley Kay, and it is called Activity Book of Serial Killers. I don't know about you, that just threw me across the thing. It features A.H. Holmes, Jack the Ripper, Dahmer. We're talking about, it's got maps. It has the Zodiac Killer, Ted Bundy. Man, we're talking about, it's got the media. It's got crossword puzzles. It's got actual artifacts. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit in here, man. Ashley Kay did a really, really good job. And that's a book to be notarized. I mean, come on now. That's pretty cool. I like that. So now we're going to get into our Broncos corner, baby. So let's get to it. Our Broncos, as we know, we all know, everybody knew that they need running backs. That's all there is to it. But we can't not blame it on the offensive line as well. They weren't consistently steady. There were good days and there were bad days, man. Between Bowles and Powers, man, I tell you what, we had a rough end of the year. And Powers, I think it might be time to let the boy go. We don't have much room in salary cap, but man, we got to make some room somewhere, and we got to look for some stability. It's either that or we're going to have the same frustration and the same pissed offness than we did. What's better to be pissed off than pissed on? I love it. Okay, but no. But, in all reality, right? But in a sad note, we have to pay homage and respect to our former general manager, Neil Dellen, and has died at the age of 85 on Wednesday. We were saddened to hear about his passing, and the former general manager from 1999 to 2001. The Broncos made a statement. He served as the director of player personnel during their back-to-back world championship and was a perfect 7-0 in Super Bowls in his career. He was 7-0. That's pretty impressive. Oh, that ties with Mr. Brady, doesn't it? Now, it says Dellen was the cornerstone for two different powerhouses in the late 1980s and the 1990s. He was part of San Francisco 49ers and the dynasty that produced 5 Super Bowl titles in 1982 to 1995. He was brought into Denver as a director of players, and when the Super Bowls, they won in 1997 and 98. And he had a 3-year stint as a general manager. Good for him. At the time retirement, 2001, he held the record for the most individual Super Bowls. He is now tied with Tom Brady for the second most Super Bowls. The first behind Bill Belichick. Belichick. Yeah, he needs his palates checked. But you know what? We are saddened to learn about his passing, and our hearts go out to his family and Broncos Nation. We are thankful for what he's done for us. As I get older, I'm blessed, and I watch my grandkids a few days a week. And, the worst mistake people can do is telling a grandparent that watches kids how to watch kids, what to do, and when they should do it. I mean, it just makes no logical sense, It's just what it is. I mean, I'm a great grandparent. Now, I am proud to be a double G. I mean, I have the opportunity of seeing them often, and I love it because there'll be a time when I won't, and that's all there is to it. They're amazing to see, and 4th generation down. All I know is I am a sexy double G great grandpa. And where's the contest, man? Where's the contest? I've been taking the ribbons home. Woo, baby, woo. But, there is a difference between the little boys, the little ones. There's a difference between the boys and girls now. We had 36 years of no boys. I know. My wife's family as well. 36 years. When you think about that, 36 years. And then now we have Blake. And 36 years, it's amazing. Okay, the difference between boys and girls. I'll give you a few differences because, man, you learn them fast once you see the two differences. Girls, they get angry. They scream with the highest pitched sound that will curl your eyelashes and the back of your head. Now, the boys, they give you a look, and they give you a damn serious, mean look. But then instead of screaming, they throw themselves on the ground like it's suicide. Ah! And it's hilarious because now I think I know where boys get it from to start with since they were younger. I mean, they just like suicide mission. I remember, boys when I was in school, in high school, and they broke up with the girl, and they were like, this is the worst thing I've ever had. Okay, shut up. Get over it, man. I've had my heart broken. I've had my heart broken so bad where I slept in my car for 2 days. I didn't want to be around nobody. That's heartbroken. But it happens. It's just you have to live through it. You know, the old saying is true. What doesn't kill you makes your ass stronger if you let it happen. That's it. You're the one that's got to change the shit. You're the one that's got to make things happen. It ain't going to come by itself. All right, let's get to changing diapers. Girls, they weren't too bad until about 1.5 to 2 years, and then they seemed to get where they were just busy and want to go only if they seen it. So yeah, otherwise they would lay there, play with something while you change them fast and you get done with. Boys, fuck it. You might have a better chance to change a little raccoon. They are all over the place. They are fidgety as hell. Like a little monkey, they just twist and turn. You got to hold them down in a certain way. Try to give them 18 things to do with. And if they want to go, they want to go. I've changed a diaper upside down. It's like, boy, but I wouldn't replace it for the world because it ain't going to happen for long. Sooner or later, it'll be gone. Girls, they play nice together. They draw, they color, they sit next to each other, they play dollies, they do this. Boys, man, boys play with girls, boys going to reach up and grab a girl's hair. Boy's going to turn around, grab blocks, and then he sees something over on the other side of the room. He leaves everybody and goes to play something new. In other words, little boys sometimes have a little much attention span, if you know what I mean. I mean, their little bit attention span keeps going and going and going. I mean, you know, the good things is they're interchangeable. A lot of the shit that we do. The kids are interchangeable. The clothes nowadays, you know, the colors, they're not too, you know, whatever. So you could buy a green outfit and put it into a boy or girl. We're ones where the boys look like boys and the girls definitely look like girls. You know, the pigtails and pretty ruffles and all that stuff. And the boys, he's got the jeans, he's got the Tonka shirts, and oh yeah, it's just, that's who we are. But yeah, so one day last week, a little funny was, I was watching Blake and his clothes got soaking wet. He decided he was going to pour water all down his front, which it happens as a child. And you just got to laugh and go, man, that didn't work out for you, did it? So I had to change his clothes. Well, of all the days in his diaper bag, he only had a sleeper. But usually there's a couple change of clothes. As everybody knows, it's what you do. Well, I didn't want to put him in a sleeper yet. So I go upstairs and I grab his sister's outfit. And she's like 3 years old. Well, Blakey's 1.5 years, and he's into 18 month to 2 year already. So he's a pretty big boy. And next thing you know, I take him home and he's wearing a track top. And it's purple with pink and gray hearts on it. And I walk in the house, my son looks at him, and I was like, don't ask, Matt. It was a bad day. And he just says, I'll get him out of that. And we both laugh like hell. But it is true. You will do whatever it takes. Boys, I've had boys. Boys don't give a care whose shoes they steal to leave the house, to go over somebody's house. I've had boys take my shoes, take their mother's shoes, take any shoes that is there. They don't care. I mean, I think that's hilarious when it comes down to toys. Now, I will give you a quote of this week, which I leave in all my books. So the quote of the week for this week is, start small, dream big, take the leap, baby. Start small, dream big, take the leap. Now, please note that I will provide both sides of any issue and plays devil's advocate anytime I can, no holds back. I'm a nice guy usually, but you can send me a question and feedback, your questions at authorstephencandace@gmail.com. There you go. Now, if there is a topic that you want to talk about or discuss, just ask. If there's an Audible book, I've got 24. If there's a book, yes, I wrote a lot of books. Hey, I'm a writer. Some you may like, some you may not like. I get it. I started out fresh and young like everybody else. Then you grow as a writer. So there you go. If there's a topic you want to talk about, ask. I think I said already, but who gives a good God? Now, we will chat with you soon. I say hello and have a great day. And we're looking for you next week. DCP Talks is out, baby.